The US has launched strikes on Iran for a third consecutive night. Tehran responded by hitting 2 vessels in the Strait of Hormuz and targeting a number of US facilities in the region. It comes after President Trump pledged to reinstate a blockade of Iranian shipping and proposed charging a 20% fee to guard the strait. Well, let's bring in Arsenio Dominguez, the Secretary General of the International Maritime Organisation. Thank you very much for joining us on Sky News. You're head of the UN agency responsible for the safety and security of international shipping. I just wanted to get your reaction to what's been happening in the Strait of Hormuz over the past few months, and also Donald Trump's claim that he's going to charge 20% on all shipping that he allows through.
Right now, what we're experiencing is a setback of the progress that was made after the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between both the United States and Iran. And as you mentioned in your introduction, at least 2 vessels have been attacked. There are 2 reported fatalities of innocent seafarers, and around 12 seafarers have also been injured, some of them gravely injured. And of course, that remains the main priority. Since this conflict started, we still have 6,000 innocent seafarers that remain trapped in the Persian Gulf that have not been able to be evacuated, to join the loved ones, to go back to working and living in the conditions that they should by providing essential goods to everyone around the world. And it's around 500 vessels that remain trapped again in all this time. It's been months since the conflict started. We were making some progress. We managed to evacuate close to 3,000 seafarers after the signing of the MOU. But unfortunately, this is a situation that now is escalating. When it comes to charges, I reiterate my message, and that in accordance to international law, there is no country that has the right to impose any type of charges on straits that are used for international navigation.
So if Donald Trump tries to charge ships to go through, your message to him is he has no legal basis to do that in international law?
Yes, I will reiterate that message to everyone. The reality is that we've been working on that region, establishing a traffic separation scheme since 1968. It was working and operated between Oman and Iran and providing for those 20% of crude oil, 19% of natural liquefied gas, as well as the 13% of fertilizers needed for food security that comes from the region. We didn't have any issues before the conflict. What we need is to de-escalate, to maintain the dialogue, and to continue to uphold the freedom of navigation and the rule of international law. And that's where any fees, any charges imposed are actually against everything that every country has agreed.
Sky News has done some research, and our research says that the traffic along the Strait of Hormuz has dropped dramatically, with just 10 crossings recorded yesterday, compared to 50 on the 7th of July. I mean, all the movement in terms of politically at the moment is going in the wrong direction if we're talking about opening the Strait of Hormuz. What could you do about that as a UN agency responsible for the safety and security of these international ships?
I maintain the engagement with all the parties and all the countries of the organization. Just last week here, we had our council meeting, and there was an agreement on a resolution from all the countries of IMO in order to uphold the freedom of navigation and the right of innocent passage on international straits. It is also the engagement of all the countries, not only at the core of IMO, but also all the UN agencies, in order to bring the parties together. It is important to acknowledge that at least this time we still have a framework in place. It is that Memorandum of Understanding agreed between the 2 countries. There are other countries that are also engaging. I maintain contact communication with the parties. And in the meantime, my main focus is for those innocent seafarers to continue to receive the necessary assistance from medical as well as supplies that is required for them whilst the situation de-escalates.
I mean, you've mentioned the Memorandum of Understanding a couple of times. Do you seriously think that holds? Do you think, I mean, many people have talked about it as being the Memorandum of Misunderstanding. It really doesn't seem to be at the forefront of anything at the moment.
I like to focus on the positives, on the steps that have been taken. And if we go back before the memorandums of understanding, the parties were not even sitting on the table and having conversations. That is taking place now. There's several countries that are also engaging in order to maintain that fluid of information. Yes, it is volatile right now, but we have seen the escalation. So I maintain that the engagement is what matters, and we need to continue to build on the positives. Let's not focus just on the negative aspects of what is going on right now.
I mean, people would say it's great to be positive, and if you think positively, positive things will happen. But other people will say you're burying your head in the sand because there is very much lots of conflict going on, and the Strait of Hormuz is not open.
I think that if I bury my head in the sands, will mean that I'm actually not doing my job, and that there is no role for these organizations, or I hope for the future that the younger generations will continue to actually be provided for all the essential goods that come from shipping. We have had conflicts in the past. We have had challenges, but it is the work that we do, how we learn from those experiences and maintain the engagement with all the parties that would allow us to focus on where we can make progress, how we can maintain the movement in the positive aspects. This is just not about being positive. This is actually being proactive in looking for areas where we can contribute. And that's what I'm doing with all the member states here at IMO.
So what's your message to Donald Trump and Iran, the leadership of Iran now? They're listening to you. You're standing in front of them. What do you say to them now?
Well, it's communication. We need to start on the talking. It's on the table to start ironing all the areas where there's still understandings that need to be achieved on the different points of the memorandum of understanding, that all the areas where the agreement has been put in place, and of course, take those steps forward. But it is part of our role to maintain that area of multilateralism, of dialogue that would allow us to take the necessary steps in order to, bit by bit, go to where we were before this conflict, resume the trade, avoid innocent seafarers being killed, and for everyone to actually not being affected one way or another through this conflict.
Arsenio Dominguez, the Secretary General of the International Maritime Organization, thank you very much indeed for joining us.